shoulders of a young boy. His name, Merlin.
This is baseball talk there.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with Queen Rafi. I'm still your beautiful host, Queen Rafi, and today we have a very, very intelligent personality on this show, and I can't wait for you guys to meet him. Let's get right into it. Please introduce yourself.
Hello guys, my name
Hi.
is Blaze,
Hi,
and
Blaze.
it's nice to be here. I'm really honored, I got a call on a short notice and
Right.
I was able to turn up, so I'm
Yes,
glad to be here.
yeah, thank you so much. Have you seen any previous episodes?
Yes, I saw one on Instagram page and actually loved it. So when they actually told me that I'll be auditioning for this week's episode, I was really honored and said, okay, I won't even miss it for anything.
Oh, thank you so much for accepting to be here. On this show, we have a tradition of, giving our guests an opportunity basically to showcase yourself. Like, is there anything that you feel like you have that is very unique and special to you?
Okay, yes. One of the things that I can say is unique about me is I'm a dancer. I dance, and at the same time I also work like normal regular jobs with everybody. I'm a tutor.
Oh wow.
Yes, I tutor kids. I tutor teenagers.
Right.
Towards getting to the university.
Right.
So, and I think aside that, again, I kind of like to I watch anime. I'm an anime fan. So I watch Korean movies.
Ooh.
So I actually do stuff that other regular people can also do. So
It's very, very rare to find people who are like very young and still have, their brains are hot. Because these days, most of the young people that we have, they are money driven and, they're trying to just money. But like, it's so nice to have someone who is, you're money driven, I'm sure, but like you're still educational and every other thing driven too.
Sure.
It's so good to have you on this show.
Thank you very much.
On our very first episode, the first episode that aired is right now. I think it has aired. There was a clip of a meme that was talking about obsession, and then a lot of people got to us and they're like, they want me to elaborate on the topic obsession. Like they're like, this topic needs to be talked about. Like you're not talking about this topic, like it wasn't supposed to just be a short thing. So because I got lots and lots of requests to talk about this particular topic, I felt like, I should bring someone who is not my gender to hear from the perspective of the male gender. Like, in fact, let's just go on the surface. What is obsession? Director, let's have like a concrete definition. What is obsession?
Okay.
Right. Just help me check so that we know what we're talking about.
Okay, so obsession.
Yeah.
When someone is obsessed, they've lost control of their feelings about the object of their obsession.
Right.
The adjective obsessed is often used to simply mean very interested. But when someone is truly obsessed, their interest has become compulsive and they've begun to lose control over it.
Exactly. That is why I like to say, in fact, today's topic is obsession and love, because a lot of people have misinterpreted love for obsession and obsession for love. There's a very thin line between love and obsession.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Have you ever been in a situation whereby maybe either you as a person, you're obsessed with something or with someone or anything like that?
Don't lie.
Yes, to be honest, I don't think I have had any scenarios of obsession. Like, I don't think I've had any scenarios of that, because I believe in equality, like getting everything in proportion. So once it gets beyond, I just give myself this space and go and think that, okay, am I going too far with this? Like, I talk with people randomly, and sometimes when I maybe tend to give one person more attention than the other, some people tend to think that maybe it's an obsession, that maybe I'm obsessed over this person. That's why I'm always there trying to give more of my time to that person. But I still feel that is not obsession, because you can actually, someone like me, I can actually just cut the rope and say, okay, I'm tired of this. I know where to draw the line and say, okay, this is how far I can go, and any other thing beyond this, it's no longer me. So But those that are obsessed, they go beyond, and that's where a lot of issues begin. Because when you go beyond that, you start seeing things like maybe it start causing harm. Yes, obsession causes harm. Because at that point when the other person is trying to tell you that I'm tired, that's when you're not like, okay, it just started, let's continue. And it start becoming violent, because if the person does not want you, then you start to tell the person no, you or nobody else. Then you start seeing a lot of movies have talked about this too, where they show a man being obsessed or a woman being obsessed, and we see how deep that particular issue can actually get, leading to sometimes suicide and or a lot of damages caused. For me, I would still say, right, I don't know, I give a line for my own obsession. I'm not really obsessed over anything for now. I don't know about the future.
Like I said, a lot of people actually talked to me about this particular obsession, and then I was fortunate enough to have like 2-3 people give me their personal story, and I'd want to like tell you the stories based on a third man. Like, I'm speaking from a third man's angle, right? So there's this girl, she reached out to me, and she was like, she was the very first person actually that reached out to me. She was like, I should please speak about it, that is not being spoken about enough. And then the story is basically her elder sister was married to a man. Basically, they met in school, I think in their 100 level, if I'm not mistaken. And then, first of all, they were in love. That's why, when I started earlier, I said there is a very thin line between love and obsession. You do not even know when you graduate from love to obsession, if you're the person involved. So she was like, she went to school, like her elder sister went to school with this guy, and then their family, they are well-to-do, they are doing good and everything. But the guy she fell in love with in school, we were not doing so good. But like, she really likes the guy. You know, like all these K-drama stories when one character is doing better than the other, and then the person doing better than the other person is, helps the person grow and stuff. So basically, she usually collects money from her parents because they are well-to-do. They collect money from her parents. She pays the guy's school fees she was in 100 level, the guy was in 200 level. She paid his school fees in 200 level, 300 level, 400 level, 500 level. He was an engineering student. Up until they graduated. His NYC and everything, she took care of everything. She made sure she brought him to the place where she was, so that there was no, there was no chance for anything. I get you. And then she as the sister she was saying that she was suddenly noticing that her sister cannot do without this particular guy. Like, in everything, like every conversation she brings up. She was like, at first it was cute, like my sister is in love. My sister is talking about this person a lot and stuff. So she said at first she felt like, oh, it was cute. It's good to be like in a cute relationship and stuff. But when she knew that it got into obsession was when every single time she's calling this guy to know where he is. Like, she wants to know what he's doing. She wants to know where he's at. She wants to know who he's going out with. Like, she said that this guy literally has to give her like a week notice. Like, oh, by this time next week, I'll be going to this particular place with this particular person at this particular time. Damn. And that was when she knew that it was small. So at some point, she wanted to talk to her. She actually spoke to her, and she was like, this thing that you're doing, like, guys, no matter how much in love they are with you, when they begin to notice that you're very controlling, and this is not just you being controlling, this is you being obsessed with this particular person, they don't want you. It's not that he doesn't love you, but because of how obsessed you are with him, you're definitely going to make him feel the need to distance himself from you. And she was like, there's no way that the guy is ever going to leave her after all she has done for him and stuff. So they went on, they graduated, they finished their youth service. She got a job for him and told him to work in the place where she wanted him to work. They did like that. She got pregnant. She literally paid her diaries by herself just to make sure that, they stay together. And then when the guy started cheating, because this is not me justifying, cheating or anything like that, but the guy at that point felt like this girl is like, you're holding me in this particular space. Yes, and because she started caging him from when he was in like 200 level. So it means, this is not me justifying cheating, like I said, but like, he didn't have an opportunity to expand and, like his horizon and everything. Yeah. So he was always scared of her. And then because he knew that he didn't have anything, so he wouldn't want to do things that would, like bring him loss, or maybe if they separate and everything. But now that he's working, he's doing well, he now started cheating on her. Right. And then she knew that he was cheating on her, and then when at first when he started, she was crying and so, and then her sister was like, the person who reached out to me was trying to tell her sister that I don't blame this guy for cheating. Cheating is not a good thing, but like, you have been on this guy's case for the longest. You have made him feel like he's caged, like you've turned your love into obsession and everything. And she's like, she was like, we die here. If you like let him go and cheat, if you like let him do anything, like two of them are going to be together. And she's like, right now, the reason why she's reaching out to me is that she wants me to talk about it, and then if possible, when this episode airs, she will show it to her sister for her sister to, like, get to understand the fact that what she feels for this guy at this point is not love, because she herself says that most times these days they're always fighting. If it's not cheating, it's something that he's doing, it's something that she's doing. Like, they're very much irritated with each other, but she has refused. The guy has asked her for a divorce like several times, but she's like, until she dies and until the two of them dies, they're going to stay in the marriage and everything. That after all she has done for him, he wants to leave right now. That's not possible. They're going to die together and stuff. That she just wants me to, like, she knows what it means for somebody to be obsessed with another person, and before it leads to one misfortune or the other, because it's everywhere on the news how people die because of obsession and stuff, that before it gets to that stage for her sister, she would want, like, us to talk about it and try to bring her sister back to her senses, letting her know that no matter, like, what you guys have been through in the past, or what you guys have gone through together in the past, holding on to it to the extent of saying that we die here together, it's not healthy and like,
sure, it's not healthy.
If you have something to say about this situation, like, if you could give in your own opinion about the situation.
Although, firstly, I would commend the guy for at least trying to be patient to a point. Although, yes, because of coming from the background where the guy was, he wanted it to last to when he could actually be independent.
Right.
But the thing there is, the lady refused to give that gap. She was all mushy about the love that she had for him, and it's now aggravated to what it is today.
Right.
And it's not making where I draw the line is that even if she loves this guy truly, right, and I'm very sure at a point the guy would have loved her too. So, but when you start giving a man, especially someone like me, if you start trying to tell me, I will tell you that, see, I'm not the type that you want to, like, know my every movement. Right. Sometimes I have a friend like that she was like, where are you? If maybe I was calling and I hung up, and maybe I was like, okay, I'll call you later, and I did not let her call. She would say, okay, before you know it, the next thing I'll hear is you started talking to other girls, but that's why you don't have my time again. And I'm like, no. And when I saw that this thing was getting too much, I just blocked the person. Like, I beg, like, this one is stress. So that was because right from time I tried to make sure that I'm not the one in the receiving end all the time. I make sure I'm not the one in the receiving end. But on this guy's case where he's on the receiving end, I will blame the guy partly because, one, you at a point where it got to the point of marriage, that is where you should have thought things
drawn
through.
The line, right?
Like, even if she got pregnant for you and you were not still stable or whatsoever was the case, that was where you should have drawn the line to actually access the kind of person you are moving with. Because it's marriage, and not everybody agree to divorce.
Right.
Me, I won't even agree to divorce. That's why I'll take my time before I get married, because I want to see the kind of person I am talking to. Right. Because I know I'll still be with that person for a very, very long time. Even if divorce comes into play, I'm not expecting my divorce to even start in the first 10 years or first 20 years. I want to see where at least I can grow my kids to a particular age where even if we are both not interested, my kids will say, okay, at least you have tried. You people have tried. Even if you are going your separate ways, they can still forget that, okay, at least when they remember what has happened from the past, they will know that, okay, them being separated is just because they are already old or the vibe is no longer there or something. Right. But for his own case now, I see the guy as someone that was already tired. He's tired. The lady is almost monitoring his life. If possible, if there's a mirror, like all this Snow White and the Seven Dwarf, there's a mirror to be checking where he is, how much she would do it. And the obsession is great. And I'm very sure someone like that, if the guy eventually walks out of the relationship, with or without divorce, she might harm the guy. Definitely. Like, it's almost getting to that point where the guy his life is almost in danger now. And I'll urge from my perspective that I'll plead that if she can be hearing me now, that please, wherever she is, she should just sit down and stop and rethink whatever she has done. Yes, it's good to help somebody. Yes, it's good to love. It's not, all these things are not bad to do. But please, don't use whatever you have now to jeopardize what you would have in the future. Because look at the kids. If she has actually given birth to children, she should look at her children. She should look at where the perspective of the man. And even if they want a divorce, they should be able to settle it in a way that would not hurt each of them, in any of them, and even the children coming up. Because even if the man is to walk out, he should not walk out on his kids. So there should be a style at which he's working out. There should be a pattern at which they should amend everything. So that, but if they can come together, let it be that, let the man be able to say, okay, this is what I don't like that you are doing. I want you to stop. That this is where I want to take charge of this relationship, and I want you to stop to this point. Maybe if you stop to this point, maybe there can even be a solution to it. That's what I feel. That I believe that she should be able to check or checkmate her own level of love. Where this guy, maybe the guy might still love her, but he's already getting to the point where the thing is like, no, I can't stand this aura again. Any little discussion, a fight will spring up, because there is no how she would be saying anything that would make interest with a guy that is already getting tired. So I just feel that the few points I have is, let them look for how they can settle it. If it is to go to for a therapy or anything she can do to just make sure that she's back to normal, then from there they can now discuss and see how they can sort their issues out. And for the cheating aspect, yes, I'm not in total support of him cheating. For the fact that he has been eating ogbono soup and he said he wants to try egusi soup does not mean he should go and try egusi soup when ogbono soup has come to stay. So he has to still stay in his particular lane because he was already married. I didn't mean there is no commitment like marriage. He is free. During when they were dating, if he was cheating then fine, I don't hold any grudge. You are still unmarried. You have every right to do whatever you want to do, so long you are not caught. And if you are caught and she still wants you, fine. But now you are married, you are supposed to just know how to guide yourself. Because your wife is not maybe mentally stable or emotionally stable to handle your issues, does not mean that you should now take it outside. And because normally there are so many people that want to salvage that opportunity and say, okay, let's use this opportunity to cash out from you, or let's use the opportunity to steal you away from him. Because I'm very sure that guy will be a good guy. Because for him to even be that patient for years, from 200 level, that means it is a long journey. It's a very long journey. And me, I'm not that way that if I have that kind of person that I can give that kind of time to, I can't leave that person just like that. Even me too. I'm from the woman's point of view, I see where she said no, I can't, because where did she want to start from? It is very difficult for her to start over again. And what time, at what age, and what all the things she has done. If she should think about it, it will wear her down even when she's with another partner. So I feel on that part, the man should work on himself and see reasons why divorce should not be his option. They can just maybe give a few months separation or a break, and then they should get to understand each other, then come back and see how it would work. That's my take on it. But
and then according to the story, she's like, even in the past, like their parents have had to intervene to separate the two of them, but her sister always ends up in his wherever he is. Like she always, whenever they separate them, should be the one going over to go and look for him. Do you understand? And then, like you said, of course, at some point they must have loved each other. And I feel like the reason why he even wanted to persevere up until getting married, because I don't think there's any guy in this world, maybe there are, but like I don't think if he didn't have any love or anything, he would have, he would have agreed to marry her in the first place. Although from what the storyteller, that is the sister of the woman rather, says, from what she says, is they got married because she got pregnant. But then she's saying that she doesn't think that it was emergency pregnant. I don't know how to put it, like unwanted pregnancy. She felt like her sister wanted to keep it, maybe because she had already started seeing signs that it's like this guy wants to leave, so she decided to keep the pregnancy. Because she's saying that two of them have been together since 200 level. There's no way in hell that they've not be having sexual intercourse all the time. So why didn't she get pregnant 200 level, 300 level, 400 level, 500 level, when they did youth service, by the time they were working and all those things, why is it at that particular time that she decided to keep the pregnancy and stuff? So she said that this whole obsession thing, that it has actually been going on for a while. They just didn't realize that, this thing is obsession. This is no longer love. This is growing into obsession. And I'd also want to say that most times this is where domestic violence comes in, when the guy is mistreating you but you don't want to leave because of how far you guys have come. Because if you look at the case of IVD, I've forgotten his wife's name. God rest her soul. I can't remember his wife's name. Blessing CEO.
Yes.
Right? The guy that she went to prison because of him. IVD, I can't remember his wife's name. She died because of the same thing. And as soon as I was reading that story, I'm like, this is giving me flashbacks of this particular woman. Please, can you help me look up IVD's wife's name? I think it's somewhere on Instagram. IVD. Yeah, IVD. Yes. Or look up Blessing See You. I think there's a storyline. I can't remember her name per se. This is exactly what happened to her. And then in her own case, she died eventually. Because the obsession was so much, she wasn't going to leave. He literally had HIV. That's the IVD guy, from sleeping around. But she knew that this guy was sleeping around, but she's like, she's not going anywhere. That after all the years she had put into him. So I don't know if you're watching this, you need your sister to hear this part. Even if she was like, after all they've been through, this guy would go sleep around, he will come back. Sometimes he'll be out 3 days, 4 days, he won't be back. The wife will tell him, if you like, go and sleep out for 9 weeks. As long as you're coming back to this house, she doesn't have a problem with it. And she had kids with him. So what led to her death? At this particular time, they were fighting for something. Okay, no. When she eventually said to herself that she's done, she doesn't want to continue anymore, because so many times they've had issues. Sometimes he will beat her up. Her eyes will be swollen. She will come live. She'll talk about it. She'll still go back to this particular person. So people got tired of advising the two of them. It's like, so if you don't want to leave each other. And people were saying that there was still love between the two of them, because every single time they had issues, they always found a way to reconcile and stuff. Like maybe like 1 week, 2 weeks, they'll be good. Everyone will be rosy. Before you know again, you start hearing their issue again. Exactly. They'll begin again. And people are like, you guys obviously have gone from love to hate, from love to obsession. This thing is not working. The love that started this relationship is no longer there, but you guys are forcing it to remain. So, but like when the issue that led to her death, I think according to what was on the internet at that time, they said she was fed up at some because she had given him HIV and stuff. So she was like, if this guy has given me HIV, what else can he possibly give me that I have not had? Is it STDs? That she was always treating STDs and stuff. That even her kids, she doesn't let her kids use the same cutleries that the two of them use, because they know that they are infected, and because she knows that she has lost everything. She felt like the only thing left for her to lose at this point is her life, and she's not going to give up that easily. Like, she's not going to give in that easily, despite everything that have happened in the past. So she's like, if this guy has beat me up, I did not die. He has shed on me, I did not die. He has done this, I did not die. He has done that, I know. What else would make me leave the relationship at this point? So she had the mentality of do or die in the relationship. Clearly, the love had gone to obsession, and the obsession had led to hate and domestic violence and all those things. So the particular incident, according to what the internet says, that caused her death was when she had finally decided to leave the relationship. He wasn't around at this point. She had planned that she was going to take, because he had already started making money at this point. Do you get? He was already making money at this point. And then one day she decided that she was going to run away with the documents of the house, his cars, and every single thing that he owns, like the papers of all his houses. So I think somebody informed him that this was her plan. So he came back and met her in the process of packing all these things. So they started fighting and stuff. And then because they are always violent whenever they're having misunderstandings and stuff. So I think she took, I don't know how it happened, but like she poured kerosene on it was like, if she cannot have it, he cannot have it as well. So I think she poured kerosene or something on the floor or on herself and him. I have no idea how it happened. And then she was like, she's going to set the house on fire, like let everything crumble once and for all. The kids were in school at that point, so there was nobody. It was just the two of them, and then the gatesman who had the story. So she was like, if she cannot have him, he cannot have the documents of his house. Like, let everybody lose Do you understand?
Everything.
Yeah, let everybody lose everything. So she poured kerosene on herself, on the house and everything, and she was ready to set the house on fire and stuff. So in the midst of struggling with her, she lit up the fire, and then she was born, like she caught on fire. And then according to, whatever, they were the only two in the house. If he wanted to save her at that point, he could have, like looked for means to save her and stuff, because the two of them were in the house. But she got burnt, and then she died before anybody even came in and stuff. So the narrative we have right now is what we heard from him, because they were the only two in the situation. The gateman and the house help, they were not inside the house. So when it was time to give statement, it was definitely what IVD will tell them that they will say to the internet. But people are like, no matter, she was like, she burnt herself, that they were arguing, and she was like, she's fed up and she wants to leave and everything, and then she set herself on fire. So people are like, two of you were in the house. While she was setting herself on fire, what were you doing as her husband at that point? So it was so tragic, because these are two people that probably grew up together. I think she was like 16 years old when she met him. In her case, she gave up school because of him. She was paying his school fees. She wasn't going to school. She was working, paying his school fees. She made sure she saw him through school and all those things. So that I would want to say I understood her to some points in when she was saying that what else can she possibly lose at this point and everything. But I don't think there is anything there is no reason.
She was not able to forgive herself.
Exactly. So I felt like she was struggling to accept the fact that it wasn't working, and at the same time she was also struggling to accept the fact that damages has been done. Like I think she was basically focusing on the damages that has already been done at that point, and she wasn't seeing any reason. She was like, nothing, what else can possibly happen that has not already happened? So she felt like the only thing next she had to lose was her life, and she actually lost it in the fight with the man. Right now, the man is moving up, and the man he's the one that is dating Blessing CEO now, and she's going about, talking about the business and every other thing. So my point is, I don't think there is any situation, regardless of how much you love the person or how much you are obsessed with the person, there is no reason for you to put your life on the line. The person who sent me this story, I promised I was going to keep you anonymous. Please, you need to let your sister know that at the end of the day, whether she has saw him through school and everything is working fine for him now, if you want to leave, no matter how old you are. And maybe she's thinking that, because I'm this particular age, I don't feel like I would be able to settle with someone else, and where do I start from and all those things. But I feel like there is nothing that you cannot do at any particular age in time, right? So I don't see any reason why you would want to go that extra length. Fortunately enough for you, we already have people who have gone through what you are going through, and then we have seen the end of the obsession. You are literally threading through this part, and I feel like the earlier you stop, the better for you, before it gets to the part where you feel like, where you think that it's only your life that you have to left to lose. So in situations like this, I know that besides, obsession with human beings, there are people who are obsessed with things too.
Yes, their phones. Some people are obsessed with their phones. Right. Like without a mobile phone or a smartphone in their hands, they might really look like an addict. Like, I can't actually do anything on my own. Right. So there's some people that once they put their eyes off the screen, their life is entirely miserable. So I've seen there's some people that once they are not just the way we are alive now, some people, they cannot just be life like this. They feel their life is miserable. Like so long nobody's looking at them, their life is. Some people cannot even be for some. It can even be clothes. The obsession with clothes, always wanting to be on the latest fashion. Right. Don't get me wrong. It is good to actually look good, but at the expense of what you are earning, at the expense of where you are, you taking all those things into a higher factor for yourself is obsession. Some people will go to the market with maybe little money and say, "Don't worry," they start getting loan to buy clothes. Some people being on debt to buy clothes, buy shoes, just to satisfy their obsession. Some people with food. Although we used to have all those TikTok people that and Twitter space that they will show somebody eating maybe fufu or somebody eating big food or a bowl of rice or something like that. But we know those ones are just for the camera, for the space. Yeah. But yes, there are some people that are like English. They are like that in real life. Right. What I mean is they love to eat. They want to eat at any given period of time. Some of them might not actually show it as being fat, but they just love food. They're obsessed with food. They just can't pass anywhere without trying to eat whatever they see at that point in time. And there's some people, they are obsessed with animals.
Right.
Yes, dogs, cats. Some people can even carry a weird pet and bring to the house. Snakes, because me, I don't know why person go carry snake for house. Some lion for these Arab people now.
Right.
Their one is lion. So a lot of things are happening now. Even tools that we use. Some people, it will even be okay because of the kind of job they love doing. They feel that okay, they prefer their job to family. There's some people that put their job first over family.
Yes.
So, and those ones too. At that point in time, you're obsessed. It's becoming an obsession because once you take that factor away from every other factor. Some people can be saying they are obsessed. You can't be obsessed with God, actually. Everybody must love God. But now, it now becomes obsession. Because God, one thing in the Bible is that God still tells us to use everything in proportion,
right.
In an average scale.
Right.
But now when you start overdoing it, see somebody, okay, you have a business to run, but you want to go to church 5 times in a week or 7 times in a week. Every day I must be in church. Everything I must do. Once you are talking to a person, you can't talk about business without mentioning God inside. Sometimes it's not entirely like right to do something like that because I feel like some things should be kept at its own time. That's why I think there's time. They say it in the book of Ecclesiastes. There's time for everything. Supposed to give time for business, time to serve God. That's why God even created a quiet time. Even in the Bible, they're talking about have your own quiet time. For them to create those things, that means they know that all the time you cannot actually just say every day, even if it is God's plan to always adore Him every day. But not every day you should do things like that. Let me not divert before the Christian folks come and kill me. But yes, all these things are what many things. A lot of other factors can be considered as obsession. So even sometimes, even your random friend. You might not be dating the person. I've once seen someone that how does all this being a stalker comes from? Someone that just decides that it's only this person that I want to be looking at, and anywhere the person is, I want to just know that I'm there, looking at the person, knowing the person's move. Sometimes even recording. So I believe all these things are one of these set of obsessions that we should look out for. As for me, I don't really have obsession over anybody. Because I'm still working on a lot on myself. So I don't think that obsession for me is there. But if somebody somewhere is having obsession over me, I beg, just calm down and find another place and go. Because me, I don't have that energy. If I should notice it, I will notify the police on you. Because I don't see somebody, I'm seeing that person as infringing into my privacy.
Yes.
And it's bad.
My goodness.
Yes, it's very bad. So for obsession, I'll still tell the youth out there, you don't have to make yourself obsessed over anything. Even if to get what you want, you don't need to obsess over it to get what you want. There are other ways to go around it. Think as a youth, think as an adult, think as an old man and old woman. Or just make sure you are trying to think and weigh the scale and balance it. Once there is a balance, try to balance whatever you are doing. Once there's a balance, then you will see that you can actually move forward. You like school, Abi, good for you, but balance it. You like to work, good. Balance it. You like this particular person, good, but balance the like or balance the love. Because once there's a balance, you'll be able to know where to draw the line. Because why this case of obsession is coming in, because nobody wants to know where they draw the line. Many people just feel like, okay, I love this person. I don't want this person to go. This person is a good person. I don't want to lose this kind of person. If I lose this kind of person, I will not be opportune to see this kind of person again in my lifetime.
Right.
And you want to now hold on to that person. Sometimes because of obsession, they will forget the disadvantage.
You even forget the reason why you like this person in the first place.
Yes,
you just know that you like this person and you want to.
The purpose of you getting to know that person would not be there again. Secondly, the fondness that you got, you'll be expecting it to be like that every day, which is not possible. If you are my friend, there will be a day that I'll be extremely boring to you. There should be the day that you'll be like, I don't want to just hear you today, please. Right. But if you start expecting that I must be funny every day, because I'm a comedian or I'm a skit maker, I give jokes and okay, everybody feel that okay, this guy is always funny outside, and you're not expecting someone like me to always want to be funny every time. That is also an obsession,
right?
Because your expectations will be increasing, at the expense of the other person, and the other person will not know what is happening.
Right.
I've once seen someone telling me about a particular comedian that he's no longer funny. I'm like, are you expecting him to always give you what will make you to laugh all the time? Like, once you start giving that high expectation towards a particular person, then you are becoming obsessed. I feel once that proportion of what you are giving to that person is beyond what it should be, then it becomes an obsession.
Yeah. Speaking of this, this what you're saying just reminded me of the second story that I was going to say. This one is the other way around. The obsession is coming from the guy's perspective,
Okay.
right? Like I told you, there were like 3 people that reached out to me. I'm still trying to remember the third one, but as I remember the second one, I'm like, let me say it just so that I get it out there that I have said your story. So she said she was in a relationship with this particular guy. First of all, it started out as, like we're friends. Oh, I'm from this particular place. Oh, you're from there to, oh. It started out as brother-sister kind of thing. It went from brother-sister kind of thing to them actually liking each other. Okay. And then the guy was like, he was always calling her his own. But at the initial stage, she thought it was cute. Oh, this guy is calling me his own. I feel so special and stuff. So, like, they started dating, and they were dating for a long period of time. And, 6 months, 8 months, he got her a phone. He was giving her money for her hair and all those things. You know what relationships are like and whatnot. So, at some point, she wasn't feeling the relationship anymore because she felt like the two of them were not supposed. I don't know how she put it, but the exact sentence, but she said that she felt like the two of them were holding each other back. He wasn't moving forward, and she wasn't moving forward either because they placed their love and their relationship at the center of their everything. So she wasn't moving forward financially, educationally, and all this stuff. And the same thing for him too. So she felt like, as she said, at that point, she wanted the relationship to end because it wasn't giving what it was supposed to give anymore. And then the more she tried to talk about it, he would bring up, oh, you don't love me anymore. Oh, you are seeing somebody else and all those things. Prior to this, he was always the type that wanted to know where she was. I don't know. I feel like this is a very common attribute to people who are capable of obsession. They want to know what you're doing. They want to be in your space. They want to know who you're talking to when you're talking to this person. For example, when you're wearing, be like, oh, snap a picture. Let me see what you're wearing before you go out. Some of them want to even read your chat. So I'm getting to that point. Like, she'd be like, for example, if they're together and then she's on the phone, he will grab her phone and wants to see who she's chatting with, what kind of chat she's having that is making her smile or that is making her, not listen to what he's saying and stuff like that. And I'm like, in my head, while I was reading this, I'm like, these are early signs of obsession. See, if you're out there and then you're having, you ever find yourself in a situation whereby your partner always wants to know what you're doing, he wants to know where you are, he wants to know at what particular time where you are, who you're with, and all those things. These are early signs of obsession that you should take note of. Don't get me wrong, there is love, but this love is gradually turning into obsession because there's no type of love that says that you need to always be in your partner's business. First of all, it means that you're even lacking trust to start with. So maybe not trust, but maybe the guy doesn't, trust you as much. So back to the story, she's like, the guy wants to know every move that she's making. That at that particular point, she felt like, oh, for someone who is, because she's on the prettier side than him, she's more pretty, and then it feels like, oh, because this girl is pretty, it definitely is, I'm not the only one trying to get her and all those things. So he always wanted to keep her in check to make sure that he was the only one she was talking to and the only one she was giving attention. Like, they could literally be out, and then he would want to hold her hand, not because of love or anything, but just because he doesn't want people to talk to her. Do you understand? Like, people could, she could literally be standing and, having a conversation. When guys could randomly just walk up to a pretty girl and oh, what's up? What are you doing? Like, he would literally come and stand in between them. And then sometimes, she said there were times when she'd be talking to her friends, not necessarily guys per se, but maybe girls. And then he would just come and then he would say, what are you doing? Let's be going. All those kind of things. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, these are early signs of obsession that you should take note of. So she said that at some point, she noticed that on her phone, there are times when she would not check a message, but the message will appear as read already. When you're having some chats, sometimes she will also open the chat and the guy, or maybe somebody will be like, now answer me now because her read recipient is off. And then when somebody reads your message, you would know. And then when I, for example, you send me a message, it has appeared that I have read it, but I'm not responding to you. It seems like I'm snubbing you or something. So and then she was like, I'm like, she just seen this message that how it is showing red, she doesn't know, she doesn't have any idea. She has not read the message, she doesn't know, anything about it. And then it went on for a long period of time. She had to call somebody, and because I think that was how I even got to that. On WhatsApp, you can actually I've forgotten the English. Like, you can spy on somebody's WhatsApp. You can link somebody's WhatsApp to your own. Yes,
they call it the spy app.
And then you can know what is going on the person's phone.
Yes.
And then she was like, she got tired of explaining to people that she has not read these messages. She had to call one of her friends that is a guy that knows about all these tech things, and then he told her that she should check something. Basically, the end of the discussion is that she found out that somebody was logged into her WhatsApp too and was spying on her every chat. And then most times all those messages that are appearing as read is the person that is reading it and all those things. Because she said sometimes that she would just, like, maybe they'll be arguing about something, she and her boyfriend, they'll be arguing about something, and then he'll bring up something from her chat that she knows that this guy doesn't know about it. I didn't tell him about it. So, and this thing is something between me and somebody. For example, maybe she's having a conversation with her friend, and her friend is talking about a guy or something, and then she's like, they're talking about her, and then when she and her boyfriend are having conversations, she'll be like, oh, that's why you and your friend were saying. Should I be like, this guy doesn't know about all these things, how come does he know this particular story? Do you understand? And when the person that told her about it told her that somebody actually hacked into her phone, she now began to remember that there were times when she was having arguments with her boyfriend, and then he'll be bringing up conversations that was in her chat that she knows that she definitely did not tell him about. So that's how she got to know that it was him who logged into her WhatsApp and stuff. So she found out about how to rectify everything and how to, for him not to be able to have access to it anymore. So when they were not having normal arguments and stuff, she now noticed that all the things he was making references to before, like, for example, maybe they're having arguments, it's very easy for him to say, oh, that is why this one and this one. She noticed that when moving forward, after she had rectified that thing, she noticed that when they were having issues, he wasn't having any other thing to make reference to, unlike in the past and stuff. That's how she noticed that he could no longer access her WhatsApp and stuff. So that's when she now, at one particular time, they were having this argument, and she was like, does he think that she doesn't know that he hacked into her WhatsApp and stuff? That all the things that you want to see, maybe you have seen it. You've seen what you want to be at the center of my life. You are there right now. I hope you are satisfied. She was not like, she doesn't want the relationship to work anymore. Unknowing to her, somebody else was already, when you're having an issue with somebody, the person who you go to in comfort most times always is there's the tendency of you guys getting closer and, feelings developing and all that, because the person can relate, or the person is there to, help you when you're having these mental issues and problems. So apparently the guy himself liked her at that point, but because of how he noticed that her boyfriend was not giving her space for any other person to talk to her, so he felt like he didn't want to start having issues because of her with a fellow guy like him. So when she told him that she was going to end the relationship and stuff, so he was patiently waiting for the relationship to end so that he would now start making his moves. So when the relationship ended, they started talking that she and the other guy, he was so nice to her. Every single red flag that this guy who was obsessed with her, he was not taking that round. So it was so good that she was considering, like, she said she was too traumatized to go into a relationship, and so she told the guy that she wasn't going to date him, that they were just going to be friends, and the guy did not pressure her. He was like, they could be friends, no problem, and all those things. Unknowing to her that while this guy was connected to her phone, she collected her mom's number, her dad's number, her siblings' number.
Which one?
Her ex that they just broke up. Like,
Voila.
So she was like, the times when she was going out with her friends, sometimes she would want to go out with her friends. She would tell the guy where she's going to, but she has to tell her parents that, oh, I'm going to this place, but that's not where she's going to. But she always had to tell him the original thing. So he started entering her parents' DMs, was calling her like, do you know where your daughter is right now? Do you know your daughter is talking to this amount of person? Do you know? So she said that at some point she felt like she wanted to just take her life, because when her parents knew that she was dating him at that point. So definitely, if he's saying this kind of things, it's because he knows what he's saying. And then it was very, very possible that he wasn't lying. It's true that, you know, he was saying it from a place of pain, but it wasn't necessarily a lie that he was saying. So she said that every single time before she even goes out, that her parents will already tell her where she's going to, that she wants to go and see this particular person. So he painted the image in such a way that they broke up because she was having multiple partners. Do you understand? So she said she was not just fighting the guy. At this point, she was trying to save her image, as well as, you know, like, making her parents know that this thing is not what it seems. The story you're hearing from this guy is not how he is. But it was so difficult because
But the girl was giving a convincing theory.
Exactly. So she had to, even when the relationship was over, he was still obsessing over her. He was still trying to, you know, like, when she's going out, he'll call her mom and say, oh, this particular place that your daughter says she's going to, she's not going there. She's going to meet this particular person. She's going to even when she started going out with this other guy, because her mom at that time, because there was a time her mom was asking that this guy has not been calling you for a while. What's happening between the two of you? She didn't want to say anything much because she didn't know where to start. They've been together for a long period of time. So she wasn't giving clear answers. So when this guy now started coming to her parents, so he was now bringing a narrative that she was the one that was the cause of the relationship's failure, because in the first place, she didn't tell her parents exactly why they broke up and stuff. So it was so crazy. She said she was fighting her mental health so bad that there were times when she felt like she should just commit suicide, that since the guy wants her to die before he will leave her alone. So it got to that extent. So what I'm trying to say is, at that particular point where he was always asking, where are you going to? Who are you going with? Give the person next to you phone. Let me hear the person's voice, just to make sure that you're not with a guy and stuff. From that point, she should have already known that this is not love. This is obsession. But again, I wouldn't blame her, because at that point she was in love. They're in a relationship and stuff. So if he's trying to check up on her, she probably feel, oh, he loves me, or he's trying to protect me. That's why I keep saying that the line between obsession and love is very thin, that sometimes you wouldn't know that this thing has graduated from love to obsession. So in cases like this, I would also want, like, for any other person who has or who is probably going through obsession right now, these are early stages of obsession, asking you where you are, asking you who you want to go and meet, name of the person, how you met the person, all these things are...
I base obsession sometimes when it comes to dealing with human beings. I base it on lack of trust. Because obsession starts from lack of trust over your partner.
Right.
Why? Because if you don't trust your partner to a particular point, you'll be scared of whatever.
Sometimes it could even be insecurity too on the guy's.
Yes, lack of trust, insecurity. Sometimes you just feel like, okay, maybe because he felt, like in this case now, he felt this girl is better than he is.
Right.
So this girl is in a point where she can get more than what he can offer.
Yeah.
So he's now trying to, like, checkmate her to just be on his own terms, not knowing that, not wanting her to, like, actually explore, do any other thing with her life or something. So I feel, one, lack of trust. Two, for this particular guy, I feel he's insecure as an adult, because you can't just, because of you, even if you claim to love a particular woman,
right,
that kind of person will still cheat on this same woman, because there's a great tendency. Because one, you at the point you will end up saying, okay, it took me how many years to finally get this person. Now that I've gotten her, now, okay, the love will even die from him by himself. So by itself, it will die in the man's heart, and he wants to do another thing and maybe try checking on another person too and doing the same thing or starting over with someone else. So I feel this case is where there's lack of trust. He doesn't trust the girl well enough, because he felt this girl is, okay, she's very pretty. Once she step out of the house, there's tendency that, like, 5 guys is coming to talk to her, ask for a number, or maybe guys that are better than he is. A guy that can just say, okay,
exactly.
Okay, let me just for talking to you, okay, send me your account number. Just for you giving me audience. You know, there's some guys that can actually do crazy stuff to just make sure that they win you over from your ex or from your boyfriend before. Right. So all those kind of things, what this guy put into consideration without actually having trust over his partner.
Right.
I feel if there was trust, she wouldn't have a cause or a reason to go to another guy for help. No matter how little that help was at first, because it was when it became obvious that she needed help, then it became constant. Then whatever feelings that this guy was starting to have, or the other guy started having, is because of what this girl is constantly coming, and as a guy, even me too, if I see someone that's okay, maybe the way I talk to you, start having this vibe of okay, this guy is kind of, there is no how I will see a problem that I will not want to give you what you want to hear.
Right.
I will definitely want to give you what you want to hear. If I tell you that okay, I'm also like this kind of guy, you will not believe. So I will give you what you want to hear, and because I'm giving you what you want to hear, you will now change your perspective. There is no, this thing is pure logic. You are having issue with your guy, you come and meet me that this is what your guy is doing. Obviously, for me to gain your trust, I will actually do opposite of what your guy is doing, just to make sure. Then until when you now come to me, you will not see my own red flag. You will not be like, these all guys are the same. Because definitely I will try to be on the correction end for you. And if you are not careful, I might also start obsession within me too.
Right.
So because it's almost contagious.
Right.
Because the same thing that this person might be facing, I can also come and see the same thing in you and be like, if I'm not careful. There's a lot of celebrities now that they get married, after 2 years they are divorcing. Why? Because maybe what they actually have before within them was an obsession that, okay, I just like this guy, he fits to my spec.
Right.
And because he or she fits to my spec, so if I just have this kind of person, at least if I'm going outside, let my guys be hailing me.
Right.
But when the love is no longer there now, that let the boys be hailing me. Maybe the guys are no longer feeling you. Okay, we don't know, so you don't marry, fine. You don't marry, and we are fine. You now want to look for another thing that will increase your ego. Obsession with taking.
True.
So lack of trust is one of the biggest part of obsession within human beings. Unlike you're between yourself to maybe a particular item.
Right.
But once obsession taken, you will remove that person from a human being or context to an item context. Yeah. Because when you put that person in form of an item, you want to own. That's one thing about obsession. Right. They want to own that thing. They believe that thing must be theirs constantly. Right. That they must always be seen like a favorite toy that they want in their house. They just want to. There's some men that they marry beautiful women as toys in the house because what they were at first. They're obsessed over beautiful women. Now they have their money to acquire one. They feel it is when they have the money they acquire one and for themselves. And they just once they acquire one, they just want to be seeing that person there. So a lot of issues or a lot of scenarios we still bring it to lack of trust to one, and from the person that is gain obsession, I would say when you turn that particular thing to an item that you don't want to lose, then that thing becomes an obsession. So then I can also call obsession in it for this particular scenario. What I see here is lack of trust, one, and two, the man himself needs a checkup because his mental health is disturbed. His emotional he'll be on emotional imbalance currently, because for you to actually be so possessive, because that person is so possessive to the point that you can go far just as an ordinary boyfriend to go to the parents to actually report your daughter. That is bad. That's being possessive, because at that point in time,
that's like the height of all. That's the obsessionist of all obsessions. Because
one, you can ruin somebody's reputation just by that single act.
Right.
Because I've once seen a scenario where because of one person's obsession, I think was it. No, let me just paraphrase a particular scenario. Okay, this particular event where they were sharing awards, or so when Will Smith gave a punch to this other guy, and in his part, is it a slap or a punch? A slap. Okay. Then when he did that, so in his mind, he's protecting his wife. He's protecting everything she stands for. He's protecting his image. That you can't just come and just create a random joke about it.
My family,
that was it. But not knowing that. He himself was having the whole obsession thing, and this woman was out. So it now looked like as if it was a one-sided problem. Yeah. And it now escalated for Will Smith. I think he had a lot of downtime there. Nobody wanted to call him for movies. Right. His wife wanted to leave him at that point. Nobody wanted to see him. Even people said that even if he goes to social media then, I was even surprised at how he was able to still come back, because his social media was down. And so I saw those kind of things, and it now look as if he was the one that was the problem. Right. And this is because of the case of obsession. Right. Because if there is no sign of obsession due to how he has loved his wife, how he has carried his wife everywhere, because he's the kind of person that, okay, I'm a celebrity, I have gotten to that point where anything I do, people can actually love me for that.
Right.
But now you are not trying to put your family together with it, or your heart together. Like, you're trying to say, okay, this is my wife. Yeah, I support her.
And then they were in an open marriage, if I'm not mistaken. So she had somebody that she was very serious with, like she loves the guy.
So that particular part, and he himself doesn't want to believe the fact that, okay, this thing is not working again. So that is where that's one of the things about obsession. When they are always
know
blinded,
that this thing is not working, but they don't want to.
They'll purposely blind their eye or waver their face over the problem and feel that, okay, there is no problem. When there is problem, actually, they just look at there's no problem. Let's continue with the flow, and it is not working. I've gotten to a point where if I'm chatting with somebody, maybe I feel like, okay, at a point I've gotten into I'm seeing myself about to enter a relationship with this person, and I start seeing the flaws over that person. I see my own flaws. Sometimes I tell the person that these are my flaws straight up. If you're expecting, like, I'm this, because of how busy I can be, I will tell you, see, I'm a busy person. So if at a particular time you don't see me, don't think that maybe
you are with somebody else.
I might be very, very busy at that time, or I might be choked at that time, or I might be in a place where I don't want to talk. You might see me online, and if you cannot bear or cope with it, then please, I don't want to enter this relationship or this particular ship. I can't call it a relationship. This particular ship with you. Because I've seen someone that because of time, I couldn't give that person that time. The person was like, okay, I'm done with you. And I was like, fine. And she was like, just like that. I was like, yes, that is how it should be. Because I can't give you that time that you are looking for.
And it's not bad that you're looking for something else, but I can't give it to you. Doesn't mean I should hold on to you. I should not hold on to you. That I have to give you your own space. You're a human being. Right. If you cannot find it from me, you can't find it from somebody else. So I'm always the first to even initiate the breakup, so that it will not look like I don't want to always feel affected. And I don't also want you to feel affected. But I look for a good way to tell you. But if I see that you are not ready to give up, then that is where I now go to the last move, which is block, get out, delete, clear. Even if it is that seeing you in your area will cost me, I will change routes. Right.
Just to make sure that that particular thing, I want to give you that space. So that once you see that maybe this guy is no longer there, maybe you might have a chance to rethink things through and move on.
I'm moving.
So that is just it. Yeah, that is just my solution towards obsession.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about healthy obsession? Is there anything like that?
There is no such thing as healthy obsession. You either love
obsession.
somebody or you're obsessed. But yeah, when it's healthy, it's love. But when you have gotten to that point where you feel like this is a do or die, you have moved from love to obsession.
Even love itself, there's sometimes that love becomes unhealthy. Not because one person is obsessed over the other. Maybe they've started seeing red flags and or somebody is getting tired. One of the partners is getting tired, not because of trust. Sometimes some relations don't just end because of lack of trust. Some people, they easily get tired. I've seen a situation where one of my friends, as beautiful as the girl was, he got tired. Like, he's tired of always saying this girl is too beautiful. Like, he got tired of, he's this type of person that he can just, once he just feel like that vibe is no longer there, I'm tired. Like, so anything the person is doing is not giving him interest again. And he will tell the person, see, I'm very sorry, I am tired.
Healthy.
So, but that particular time, if you are the one, if in your case, if you love that kind of person that easily gets tired, that means you yourself should get ready that you should always be reinventing yourself towards that person. That means because you must always create something that will make that person to always feel, and that is where it becomes obsession. You can see now, it is love until when somebody somewhere, you are trying to now over-impress that person. I was saying it about a skit maker. Like, if you're a skit maker and somebody, if they always expect you to always drop mad content. What if on a random good day, even our artists do the same? Some songs, okay, wow, very mad, dope. And sometimes they will bring a song and everybody like, is this guy? I remember when they were talking about Wizkid in one of his songs. They were like, why is he singing like an upcoming? And what is this? Like, this is not the kind of... Then he brought another song. Wow, yeah. Another day comes again. I'm like, you guys are not expecting this guy to always give you a jam. Yes, he's supposed to give you a jam because you are the one subscribing. But sometimes you should also give them some slack and say, okay, sometimes you should just give you something mid. Sometimes, like, I'm this type of person I love to under-expect. So that when I see it, I'm happy. If it passes my on the expectation, I will know that, okay, yes, it has raised the bar to what I was looking for. Maybe normally I was expecting a 60, you now gave me an 80. Wow. Sometimes I like to create a particular line for what I should expect. Then if you now give me below my expectation, I'll still be like, anyway, yes, at least it's normal. Just a 50-50, a plus or minus, maybe because of mass. I know. I like giving myself this plus or minus. So if it is a plus, fine, it's a plus. If it's a minus, we will cope with it. But it will always give me that range to always gauge it.
Right. So basically, yeah, I feel like we've touched basic and almost everything that we need to talk about obsession, and I hope that I've been able to differentiate and let you guys know the difference between love and obsession, and when love grows into obsession and how it does, and factors that move it from love to obsession, either to a human being or to an item or to whatever the case may be. I think we've basically touched we've touched it through and through, and I would want to thank the people who were brave enough to give me these particular topics to talk about, because it's not easy to bring your family matter to social media or to the public or however the case may be. I'd want to thank you. Your identity is 100% anonymous. Nobody knows about who you are, and I hope that this is enough encouragement for people who in the future would want to talk about something that they feel like the public should know, but they don't want their identity to be disclosed. Know that you could reach out to us 100%, and your identity would never ever be revealed. And if you're ever in a situation where you feel like whatever is going on between you and your partner, or you and whatever item that it is that you have, if you want to know if like you're obsessed with it or if it's love, I hope that by the time you have watched this video up until now, you should be able to know when you're obsessed or when you're not, or if your feelings are pure or if it's going to the extreme. I'd also want to thank our guests. Thank you once again for accepting to be here on such short notice.
Yeah, it's my
and
pleasure.
Thank you for giving us your idea and your contributions and your advice on this particular topic.
Sure.
Guys, if you have not subscribed to this channel, I have no idea what else you're waiting for. This is your opportunity to subscribe. Turn on your notifications so that by the time we post videos like this, you're notified and you know exactly when to hurry down to our YouTube channel or whatever channel it is that you see, to keep yourself updated with our videos. If you have suggestions too on topics that we should treat, like today's topic was suggested by viewers of the very first episode that aired. So if you have suggestions on topics that we should talk about, you have stories that you want us to talk about, and advice and stuff, you want to pass a message to somebody without wanting the person to know that it's from you, or without wanting to give out the person's identity or identity, we are your best option.
Sure.
Here on Let's Talk with Queen Rafi, we talk about all kinds of stories and all kinds of topics that it could be triggering, very educative, very, very relatable topics is what we discuss on Let's Talk with Queen Rafi. Thank you guys so much for viewing, and I'll see you in our next episode. Bye.